And Tiger just stoic as ever, you know. And I've been texting with him a little bit, but shook his hand and just like nothing. There was nothing. You just look at you.
He just blocked
That's
everything
crazy.
out,
Like,
huh?
walk right past you like you were nothing.
Bryson DeChambeau just sent a message that no one saw coming, and Tiger Woods is at the center of it. What he said shocked reporters, split the golf world in half, and might just change how fans see both men forever. In this video, we'll break down exactly what Bryson said, why it caught Tiger off guard, and how it's rewriting the balance of power in golf. Roots of reverence. Before the rivalry, before Live Golf and the silence between texts, there was just a 12-year-old boy in a modest Modesto living room, staring wide-eyed at a television screen in April 2005. His name? Bryson DeChambeau. His idol? Tiger Woods. The setting? Augusta National. The moment? That impossible chip-in on the 16th hole. A bounce, a roll, a pause so long the world stopped breathing, the Nike logo hanging on the lip like a suspenseful wink from the golf gods before it dropped. The crowd roared, Tiger roared, and in that instant, Bryson's life quietly changed forever.
I was focused on it, really focused on it, even making this putt, but I knew I still had a job to complete. And I learned it from Tiger that the job's not complete till you hold that final putt on 18. And so when I made it, I was like, internally, I got chills in my body, but I said, calm yourself down. You got to finish a hole. You got to finish a hole.
He watched, frozen, as Woods turned an ordinary par into poetry. Golf wasn't supposed to look like that. It wasn't supposed to feel like that. That moment sold me on the Masters, Bryson would later confess. It wasn't just golf. It was magic. That spark of magic became mathematics. Inspiration transformed into obsession. The young prodigy began sketching angles in notebooks and calculating swing planes as if decoding a divine formula. His goal was no longer vague. It was Augusta, a green jacket, a chance to replicate the sorcery he'd witnessed that spring Sunday. 2 decades later, Bryson still speaks of that chip as if it happened yesterday. He replays it every April, dissecting it like sacred scripture. Tiger taught me what precision looks like under pressure, he told Golf Monthly. Every bounce, every breath, it's all intentional. And yet, even with his 2 US Open victories and countless innovations, Augusta remains his unclaimed holy grail, the dream born from that single shot. By February 2025, the Mirror quoted DeChambeau reflecting on Tiger's lasting influence. Watching him made me believe golf could be art. It wasn't nostalgia, it was lineage. Bryson's approach to golf, the physics, the formulas, the pursuit of perfection, wasn't rebellion. It was imitation at its highest form. Every data-driven experiment, every par 67 quip that got him roasted online, every long drive obsession, all of it traced back to Tiger's blueprint. When the 2025 Masters ended without a victory, Bryson didn't sulk. He reflected. Tiger never let failure define him, he said through a half smile. That's my takeaway. The scientist had learned the artist's greatest lesson, resilience. So when Bryson later stood up and defended Woods' right to play, it wasn't strategy, it was sentiment. The echo of that 12-year-old boy who once sat in front of a glowing TV, watching a living legend make time stand still, and deciding right then that he'd spend his life chasing that same kind of magic. Fire and Fairways, Paris, 2018, Le Golf National, the Ryder Cup, the loudest, most chaotic theater golf has ever built. For Bryson DeChambeau, it was baptism day, his debut on one of the sport's most electric stages. But this wasn't just any pairing. It was him and Tiger Woods. The GOAT, the myth. The poster that once hung above Bryson's childhood bed now stood beside him, real, breathing, and terrifyingly human.
He's probably the most influential figure in the game of golf. He is the most influential figure in the game of golf right now, and I think he deserves to play in the majors. He's done more than enough for this great game, and he continues to give back by playing in these tournaments and trying to win. He wants to win. He's a competitor, and I think that's admirable.
Tiger told me to hit the first tee shot, Bryson would later admit, half laughing, half reliving the panic. The French crowd didn't whisper. They booed. A wall of sound, sharp and merciless. One deep breath, one violent swing, and the ball exploded off the club face, a 300-yard missile splitting the fairway. For one shimmering moment, it looked perfect, until it wasn't. The match unraveled like a bad dream. Europe surged. The US wilted. Bryson's confidence cracked under the weight of the flag he wore. Their pairing was crushed, 5-4, by Francesco Molinari and Tommy Fleetwood, Europe's unstoppable juggernaut. Tiger looked exhausted. Bryson looked broken. Cameras caught him staring at the grass, jaw tight, eyes wide. Every inch the rookie who just realized that greatness doesn't always translate into victory. The atmosphere around the American locker room was poison, silence, blame, and disbelief. But something strange happened in the ashes of that loss. "We were thrown into the fire," Bryson later told Newsweek, "but that's where I learned the most." He learned that Tiger's famous silence wasn't indifference, it was control. He watched how Woods handled humiliation, how he moved through chaos without flinching. That calm wasn't emptiness, it was armor. For Bryson, that Ryder Cup wasn't failure, it was education, the rawest, hardest kind. Fast forward to 2025. Bryson's no longer the trembling rookie. He's bulked up, wiser, forged in controversy and calculation. His drives are monstrous, his stats are elite, but when he talks about greatness, he always circles back to that Paris morning. "That first tee with Tiger," he says, "that's when I saw it up close. The look, the focus, the weight." The clip of that first swing has since gone viral, replayed millions of times. You can see Tiger's stoic nod, Bryson's deep inhale, and the ocean of European jeers. Two generations of golf colliding, one teaching, the other trembling. And that's the thing about fire. It burns, it humiliates, but it also forges. And in 2018, under a stormy Parisian sky, Bryson DeChambeau learned to walk through the flames. The LIV divide. Every great friendship has its breaking point. For Tiger Woods and Bryson DeChambeau, it came in 2022, ushered in by money, microphones, and the word that split golf like tectonic plates: live.
I think he can do it still. He's going to have a tough road to beat us youngsters, but he's got that grit and fire in him that he's not going to stop until he gets it done. So I wouldn't put it past him.
Bryson's $125 million leap to the Saudi-backed league wasn't just a contract, it was an earthquake. Headlines screamed betrayal. The PGA branded him a sellout. But the silence that followed from one man in particular hit harder than any press release. "Tiger has cut me off," Bryson confessed in a 2023 Golf Week interview, forcing a nervous laugh that couldn't quite hide the sting. "I'm sure you can guess who." The mentor had gone mute. The texts stopped first, then the calls, then the subtle gestures, the birthday messages, the sideline nods, the occasional emoji that used to mean, "I'm proud of you, kid." Gone. Vanished into the ether. The golf world moved on, dissecting prize purses and politics. But for Bryson, the silence was personal. It wasn't just about leagues or logos, it was about loyalty. And in that courtroom of golf's moral war, he refused to plead guilty. "This wouldn't even exist without Tiger," Bryson said in 2023, his tone half defiant, half worshipful. "Every player out here, LIV, PGA, whatever, we're standing on what he built." It was a strange contradiction. The rebel defending the king who'd exiled him. But that was Bryson. Part scientist, part sentimentalist, eternally torn between progress and tradition. The 2023 and 2024 seasons unfolded like a Cold War. Tiger, the aging monarch wrapped in Nike's eternal glow, became the face of legacy. Bryson, the data-obsessed disruptor, became LIV's lightning rod. They no longer spoke, but their stories moved in parallel, one holding on to history, the other rewriting it in real time. Their rivalry wasn't loud, it was hauntingly quiet. Yet Bryson never stopped quoting him. "Stay in your bubble," Tiger had once texted during a rough patch years earlier. By 2025, Bryson had turned it into gospel, his mantra, his armor. "The bubble's where you find peace," he told The Athletic. Maybe peace, maybe denial, maybe both. Because here's the truth that everyone missed. The LIV fracture wasn't just about contracts, it was about heartbreak, the breaking of golf's most fascinating mentorship. And as Tiger and Bryson now walk their separate fairways, one fading, one ascendant, the silence between them feels less like an ending and more like an unfinished sentence. Some friendships don't collapse, they just wait. Echoes of encouragement. Before the fracture, before the silence and the politics, there were the texts. Small, glowing pings of wisdom from Tiger Woods' phone that meant the world to Bryson DeChambeau. "Tiger helped me out quite a bit today," Bryson gushed after winning the 2021 Arnold Palmer Invitational, his grin wide and boyish beneath his cap. The advice had been simple: stay patient, focus on rhythm, don't chase distance, chase control. The kind of line that sounded like nothing and felt like everything. These weren't mentor pep talks. They were masterclasses disguised as emojis and fragments. A thumbs up, a single word, a timing cue. "He told me to breathe," Bryson said in 2025, still smiling at the memory. That was it. Just breathe. It sounded like common sense, but coming from Tiger, it was scripture. Sometimes genius doesn't lecture, it whispers. When Woods' car crash in early 2021 left him in pieces and recovery, Bryson sent messages of encouragement. Short, supportive, slightly awkward, like a student comforting the professor. "You've got this, man. We're all pulling for you." He didn't expect a reply. Months later, his phone buzzed. One sentence: "You already know how to win." That was it. No emojis, no follow-up. But Bryson later admitted that message kept me going through the dark parts. It wasn't just validation, it was permission to keep believing. By 2024, when Bryson reclaimed a US Open trophy at Pinehurst, something miraculous happened. After nearly 2 years of silence, Tiger texted again. Just 5 words. "Proud of you, kid." That was all it took. Golf Monthly dubbed it the thaw heard round the fairways. For Bryson, it wasn't a headline, it was home. Fans read it as a reconciliation, but Bryson felt it differently. It wasn't about friendship restored, it was about acknowledgement. The unspoken signal that no matter how divided golf became, PGA, Live or otherwise, Tiger still saw him, still respected him. "He doesn't have to say much," Bryson told Essentially Sports. "You feel his presence." Those quiet, digital echoes tell the real story, not one of rivalry, but of reverence. A mentorship built not on constant conversation, but on carefully timed silences. 2 champions who, even when separated by leagues and legacy, spoke the same unbreakable language. Respect. Rekindled range. Royal Troon. July 2024. The wind howled across the Scottish coast, bending the flagsticks and rattling the nerves of even the most seasoned players. On the practice range, amid the low hum of cameras and the distant murmur of spectators, 2 silhouettes stood out, one stoic in red and black, the other brimming with quiet energy. Tiger Woods and Bryson DeChambeau. For the first time in years, they were side by side. No greetings, no gestures, just shared glances that carried the weight of 2 eras of golf, both scarred and sacred. Then came the moment. Tiger turned, expression unreadable, and broke the silence. "Congrats on the US Open, Bryson." 5 words. That was all it took to thaw 2 years of ice. Bryson, momentarily caught off guard, smiled. "Thanks, Tiger. Means a lot." Cameras clicked like hailstones. To the outside world, it was a casual exchange. But to those who'd followed their fractured journey, mentorship, silence, tension, it was monumental. Within hours, the footage hit X. Millions of views. Golficity dubbed it the handshake that healed golf. Athlon Sports called it the quiet comeback of sportsmanship. Fans flooded the threads. Tiger's smiling again. This is what golf needed. For once, the online noise wasn't venom, it was gratitude. The hug came next. Quick, respectful, human. 2 men, separated by choices and leagues, reconnecting not as PGA and LIV representatives, but as players who understood what it meant to fight for relevance, for health, for purpose. The embrace said everything their silence once couldn't. Bryson later admitted to reporters that the gesture meant the world. His voice softened, his usual analytical tone replaced by something raw. He didn't have to say anything. That's Tiger. He speaks in moments, not words. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered that the two even chatted briefly about Woods' TGL project, a tech-driven league meant to modernize the game. Bryson, intrigued, joked about joining forces. "We'll see," Tiger replied with his trademark smirk, the kind that carried equal parts mystery and mentorship. The encounter was fleeting, but its impact rippled across golf's fractured landscape. Fans, media, even rival players saw it as proof that legacy could transcend division. For Tiger, it was grace. For Bryson, it was absolution. Under the gray skies of Troon, golf didn't just see reconciliation, it witnessed resurrection. Lessons from the legend. By 2025, Bryson DeChambeau wasn't just channeling Tiger Woods, he was becoming him in spirit. The swagger was still there, sure, but the chaos had quieted. "You watch his eyes," Bryson told Golf Magic in September, during a break between Ryder Cup prep rounds. "That's where focus lives." One line, but it said everything. Bryson wasn't studying Tiger's swing anymore, he was studying his soul. It's hard to believe this was the same man once called golf's mad scientist, known for protein shakes, equations, and YouTube experiments that looked more like NASA tests than practice sessions. But something had changed. Somewhere between the booze, the LIV drama, and the late-night study sessions, Bryson realized that data couldn't replace discipline, and no one embodied discipline like Tiger Woods. The transformation was subtle but seismic. During a Break 50 challenge with Tom Brady, Bryson even poked fun at himself. "I catch myself doing the squint thing now," he laughed. "It's weird. I think I've watched too many Tiger clips." Brady smirked. "That's not weird," he said. "That's evolution." Woods' influence had seeped into every layer of Bryson's game. Shot selection, pre-round demeanor, the way he paced between holes. It was pure Tiger. Gone were the emotional outbursts and over-analytical spirals. In their place stood a version of Bryson that looked less like a disruptor and more like a disciple. Newsweek called it controlled ferocity, the perfect blend of science and soul. "You can't fake that level of control," Bryson told reporters ahead of the 2025 Ryder Cup. "You either live it or you don't." It wasn't arrogance, it was enlightenment. He'd learned that Tiger's greatest weapon wasn't his swing or his stinger. It was silence. The ability to say nothing, think everything, and strike only when it mattered. Fans caught on too. Viral clips from Bethpage Black showed Bryson methodically dissecting the course, whispering to his caddy, eyes narrowed in that unmistakable Woods-like glare. The commentators couldn't help themselves. "That's Tiger's influence," one said. "He's turned chaos into composure." Maybe that's the truest measure of Tiger's legacy. Not the trophies, not the records, but the mindset he left behind. Tiger taught a generation to breathe through the noise. Bryson finally learned to exhale. Future horizons. As 2025 fades into its golden hour, Bryson DeChambeau stands somewhere between prodigy and prophet. One foot in the future, one firmly rooted in Tiger Woods' shadow. The same man once labeled golf's data-obsessed disruptor now sounds more like a disciple. "Tiger's the greatest," he told the Irish star, his trademark grin softening into something almost reverent. "We're all just living in his shadow." It wasn't an exaggeration, it was an admission. The same Bryson who once claimed Augusta was a par 67 now speaks like a monk reflecting on the teachings of his master. Tiger, the mythic figure who redefined the sport, still haunts every fairway, every broadcast, every dream. Bryson doesn't want to escape that shadow anymore. He wants to preserve it. Golf's rumor mill hums with talk of Woods' next move. TGL leadership, mentorship roles, commentary gigs, even whispers of an official coaching debut. Wherever Tiger goes, Bryson wants to follow, not as a challenger, but as a custodian. "If they'll have the crushers," he said with a wink, referencing his LIV team, "we're in." It wasn't bravado, it was homage. The student offering his hand to the teacher who shaped his path. By now, their story feels almost mythological. The boy who watched the 2005 Masters chip in with wide eyes became the man who once drew Tiger's praise, and later, his silence. The student who broke away in rebellion returned in reverence. That's not rivalry, that's redemption. And Bryson's 2024 message, the one that started this whole saga, now reads less like a statement and more like a vow: to defend, to honor, to continue what Tiger began. Golf, a sport obsessed with decorum and distance, rarely grants second acts. But somehow, Tiger and Bryson have written one together. "He'll always be part of the game," Bryson said in a December press conference, his tone equal parts conviction and confession. "Every time someone picks up a club, they're chasing Tiger. Maybe that's the point. Maybe chasing Tiger isn't about beating him, it's about carrying the torch he lit. As the sun sets on 2025 and the next season looms, Bryson DeChambeau, once the scientist, now the storyteller, stands as proof that shadows aren't always dark. Sometimes they're the glow that keeps a legacy alive. And there it is, the message that shook golf's golden halls. Bryson DeChambeau didn't just stand up for Tiger Woods, he reignited the myth, rewrote the rivalry, and reminded the world that legacy doesn't retire, it roars back. Two men divided by leagues, reunited by loyalty. Whether it was forgiveness, strategy, or something deeper, one truth remains. In golf's ever-splintered kingdom, Tiger is still king, and Bryson just proved he's still the most unpredictable knight in the court.